Greetings to my respected elders, my brothers and my sisters, and to all those who are not yet believers. This is the full cut of the Boundaries of Allah short that I had posted earlier for those of you guys who got to catch that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets boundaries for us for very great and specific reasons, okay? It's not just to restrict us from having fun and enjoying life. Allah tells us that we should enjoy the goodness of life. However, we have to do so within certain boundaries. These boundaries are twofold in their reasoning, okay? The first reason, first and foremost, is to protect our Jannah, our paradise, our afterlife. All right? We cannot expect to get to paradise if we just live a reckless existence without boundaries, without any type of guidance or stipulations. That's ridiculous to think. You know, a lot of people will say that all it takes is faith and all it takes is belief, etc., etc. And then they'll turn around in the next sentence and tell you faith without works is dead. So there you have it. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when you pray, tie your camel. So what that means is that while the prayer aspect is super important, so is the action aspect. We have a certain degree of accountability when it comes to remaining steadfast on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, straight and narrow path. Those boundaries that he places upon us will give us a better existence here in the dunya. I mean, look around at the world. The world is falling apart. I mean, it's been falling apart for decades, and I'm assuming it's progressively gotten worse and worse and worse and worse for much longer than I've been alive, and much longer than most of my viewers have probably been alive. However, you can ask some of your elders who have been around for a while about the state of the world 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, if you are blessed enough to have grandparents or great-grandparents that are still living and they've been around that long. It's probably the right ones to ask, and they will tell you that they have seen a major decline, not only in like the political environment, obviously, but in what is socially accepted now. I remember just being a kid and some of the things that the programming that was on television at the time. Of course, you know, I was not raised a Muslim, I'm a revert, so the programming that we watched was much secular programming, and there were a lot of what they call risque type programs and stuff, but for that time it was completely different than it is now. Now it's mind-blowingly out of control, man. It's kind of unbelievable to what we will allow these days versus what was allowed 30 years ago. So there's been a huge decline in our social acceptance of certain things. And not only is it a matter of social acceptance now, it's a matter of it's supported. It's downright, flat out supported. The more out there that you can be, the more support that you get from the public majority as a whole. And it's opposite of what it should be. Anyway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts these boundaries on us so that this worldly life, it will still be a test, but so that this test is much more passable. Mixing and mingling of the sexes, our modesty dress code, the way we speak as Muslims, all of these things factor into providing us with a better life. I look back at my life and the times that I have encountered any type of real difficulty, whether it be financial in nature or legal in nature or relationship wise, things of that nature, no matter what it was always due to me lacking Islam. And a lot of times I think if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had led me to Islam much sooner, my whole life would have been different. And I would never have had the trouble that I had. If I had been following Islam, I never would have had any type of financial problems, any type of relationship problems, no problems in my life. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us the best path. He said, today I've perfected your religion, and that is a fact. It's a way of life, and that way of life is complete. So every single problem that we have can be solved by Islam, regardless of what nature it is. It's irrelevant. It's all solved by practicing Islam, submission to Allah. So these boundaries that we're given will give us a better life, and that's what Allah tells us, that if we follow these things, He guarantees us a better life. However, He does still tell us that we will be tested. Clearly in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in its interpretation of the meaning, but He tells us, did you think that because you said we believe that you would not be tested? Surely you will be tested with loss of life and all kinds of things. But it's better, it's better that a calamity befall you that make you return to Allah than it is for you to receive all types of blessings that will guide you further away from Him. So if we will put into practice, learn our deen, start out with the ground level foundational aspects and really master those. That's what it takes. We can master the basics, the foundations, and don't be too hard on yourself, okay? The Quran was revealed over a period of 23 years, and there were a lot of prohibitions that came about later on that weren't there in the beginning. Now that's not a justification for people to go out and act a fool, to commit zina, to take intoxicants and things of that nature. That is not an endorsement of that. By all means, I employ all of you to refrain from that type of stuff for your own well-being. But what I am saying is, when you make a mistake, return to Allah. When you slip up, return to Allah. Allah is most gracious, most merciful. He is the all-forgiving, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Those are not just words. Those are characteristics of Allah. Those are literally His essence, parts of His essence of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is about. So, return to Allah. Astaghfirullah, may Allah forgive me. Ask forgiveness. And get back on track. And don't let the shaitan try to trick you, trip you up, convince you that you're a hypocrite, that you're this, that you're that, because you're gonna make mistakes, man. You're gonna make mistakes. Wallahi, I swear by Allah, you're gonna make mistakes. All of us do. You don't brag about them. You protect your faults, you hide your faults, and you just try to do better for the sake of Allah. So, anyway, with that being said, that's just a brief discussion on the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why He sets those forth, the benefits of following those, and those are just scratching the surface of it, my brothers and my sisters, scratching the surface of it. There are so many more that I am probably just even unaware of. Okay? May Allah give each and every one of us guidance. May Allah give each and every one of us mercy. And if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Share it with anybody that you believe it will benefit. And any donations that you make will go directly towards producing more content, buying better equipment, getting better software for editing and things of that nature. There's full disclaimer and full disclosure with that. I tried to be as transparent as possible with that. At some point, inshallah, I would like to be able to provide content of a more professional grade quality rather than being in the car risking a lot with this driving and recording. But inshallah, Allah knows best, and I appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. And until next time, remember that there is one God and only one God, and He alone is worthy of worship.